Hello everyone, welcome to the next episode on SAP UI5. In the last class of SAP UI5, we created a list control, bind it with our fruits.json file, and now when we click on one of the item in the list control, it's changing the screen and taking us to the next screen. So this example, how we have achieved is creating a list with the list of all the data from the fruits.json, taking each data and binding it with the entire list using aggregation binding. And then when user click on one of the record, we are transferring the title of that particular record to another JSON model, which is again global. And then that's the model property which is binded to the title of the second list control. Towards the end of the class, I have given an exercise to all of you to try out the same example with bind element. So just to recap quickly what is bind element, in the previous example of SAP UI5, we have created a table control, and this table control just below this table control, we had a set of input fields. These set of input fields were part of a simple form control. And then the whole table control was binded to something called items or probably or employee tab entity set. So this is what the entire table control was connected to when we started the table example. Each record of this is represented by a path starting with index 0. So each record now inside of your table was part of a, a special path. So you can see each record. Let's say this table has 3 records, so 0, 1 and 2. This was the path of each of the record of the table. And then we had a simple form at the bottom. Now inside of this simple form, we had a couple of input fields to display the data of selected record. So we had, let's say, an input field for employee name and employee number. There were these two input fields as part of my simple form. And what is this each path is doing is it's representing the line. So in the line itself, you have employee ID, some value inside of employee ID, let's say some value, and then we had also employee name and it's some value. So this is how each line was representing the record of an employee, correct? So this is what we have done by far. Now when user, let's say, select one line item, one item in the table, let's say for example user selected this particular record over here. Now the moment user select the record, we were transferring the location of the memory of this particular EMP tab 0, which is the path of this record, to the simple form. So what simple form does, simple form now gets connected to this EMP 0th element of the table. Hence, since you have done this path now to the simple form, which treats like absolute path for the simple form control, within this absolute path you have two paths, subpaths called employee ID and employee name. And if you just connect them with a binding employee number, employee ID and employee name, you were getting the data displayed inside of your input fields, right? So entire simple form was binded to the path emp tab slash 0. This is what it was connected to. And within this path, there is a relative path called employee ID and employee name, which is supplying the data to your input field. This was called element binding, where we connect one of the element which is there inside group of elements. So you see employee tab which has a lot of elements inside. Each element is a record, each element representing a record, and that's an element, okay, element of the tab. So this element was connected to simple form, overall simple form, and within this you had employee ID and employee name, which was there as a relative path to this record. Hence it's called element binding. Now same concept we will apply here. So we have right now a list control on the first page, and list has different items this time. So each item is, let's say, connected to a path fruits slash 0. Similar to this, now each of our items, we have a dedicated path for each record, right? This is what we have it by far. So dedicated path for each record, fruits of 1, fruits of 2, fruits of 3, and within each path, if you just consider each of these paths, you will typically have a data representing within each path. Okay, so let's say fruits of 0 has some data. So maybe you have curly braces, and within that you have employee ID, or sorry, you have fruit name for that particular fruit, you have the type of the fruit, you have the color of the fruit, taste of the fruit, icon of the fruit, image of the fruit, all that you have within this, correct, within every single element. So this is one element. Now if I select this particular element on my first screen in my list control, I'm going to bind this whole of the element with my second view. So I have another view which is view 2. What I'm going to do is when user choose one of the item in the list, I just take the path of that selected item and I bind this path with the whole of the view, whole of the second view, guys. Clear, everyone? So here we were binding it with a simple form only, but view is also a control. If you watch carefully, view's parent class is SAP UI core control class. It is also a control. So I can then do a complete element binding with the whole of second view, and the moment you do it, all the internal elements now are accessible for the whole of the view as a relative path, because you are binding this whole of one record with the entire view, and what is there is inside of this record will then be accessible by the view, guys. Clear, everyone? So let's go ahead and do this element binding. So we already identified the event. When user click on an item, what happens? We already identify method to get this path of the selected element. It's just that we have got to go and do the binding with the second view and element binding. So let's go ahead and achieve this. So I go back to our web IDE and switch to my main controller, and we have a method where we are already binding it. We are actually right now transferring data from one model to another model. Right now this is what being done for this exercise. Now I'll show you a better technique, which is using element binding, which automatically transfers this data from your first view to second view using element binding concept. Let's see this. So I come here, and what I'll do is I already got the path. So that's what is necessary for me. I just need to get the view to object. Okay, where is view to object? If you can come down, you can just do this. Okay, let me just show you in debugging. So if you also observe, what is an app control? You have created your app control, and inside of your app control you have both the views inside, correct? This is what you have. So I have also demonstrated this sometime back, where you have something called an app control, and this app control has both the views inside of it, correct? So both the views are inside of app control. So what you do is you traverse to the parent slowly from the current view, and then you get the second view, the view 2, which is part of the app control as an object of it. Okay, so let's see that how to obtain that. I come back, and then what I'll do is I press F12. Make sure you refresh once, and now watch carefully. I'll click. Okay, it's just trying to load the images. Now you see so many errors and stuff. That is because it's trying to now load the images from internet, what Samir has coded into his JSON file. So that's why you see those errors are coming. So don't worry, they are not UI5 relevant. Now click on it, and you see it hits the debugging. And now I just want the view to object. So first of all, I'll obtain the current view object. Okay, oops, this gets me the current view object. You see, it has got me the main view object. Now how do I get app object from main view object? Anyone? How do I get app object? Whom inside this main view exists? How do I get app object from this? Perfect answer. We just do get parent. All of you are correct. So just to get parent, this is what we have seen also in the past. Get parent. And now you got the app object. See, the ID of the control is ID app. Now I want to know what pages are there inside. So I can say get pages, and it gives me both the views. See, both the views, your main view also, your second view also. And now it's very easy to obtain the view2 object for element binding. So you can just to get pages of one, it's an array, get pages of one gives you the view2 object. So this is how you obtain the view2 object in view1, because they both are encapsulated inside of your app control. So say var o view2 equals to the code which I tested already in the console, and I just do the view2 dot bind element and pump in the path from here of selected element, whatever is the selected element by user on first screen. That path I'm pumping inside of it to bind it with the second view. Clear, everyone? This is how, this is what was expected from you to complete in the exercise. Just get the view object and bind the selected element with the view2. That's it. And now magic happens. Go to view2. You don't need all this binding at all. You can just do now binding with relative path. Imagine one of the selected element got connected to the whole of view, and within that one single element, what's the property you want? I want name property. So I just want to put it name here. That's it. We are done. It will automatically take care. No need to transfer data. No need to transfer data from one view to another view manually. Your bind element takes care of it, guys. Let's come and check it out. Maybe I choose pairs, click on it, and you see pairs got transferred automatically to the second screen. Thank you so much for element binding. The item which I select is getting transferred to second view, guys. That's the binding capability. Any questions in this element binding concept? Once again, I have demonstrated the one case we saw it in case of a table master detail, and here now we are seeing in case of a list control, where list to view to we are navigating. Clear, everyone? How exactly we are doing? Can we use var o view get core by id? Yes, you can use it, no doubt about it. That's also fine. SAP UI get core dot by id view 2 also you can use. But can anybody tell me what will be the problem of such navigation which we are today doing? What is the problem with such a navigation if we are doing today? Anyone? What is the problem of such navigation which we are doing today? The problem is it doesn't restore the state of the UI. Now if I refresh, what should happen? Should it load this screen with sweet lime on the top, or should it load the list again? What should be the ideal state if I just do a refresh? No, it should remain on the screen. It should reload the state of the UI the way I am right now, right? It won't. If I refresh, it loads the list actually, which is incorrect. Imagine you've navigated deep inside somewhere in application. You selected a list item, and then there was a table. You selected this table. You went inside, you clicked on some button, you went inside, you clicked on some other button, you went inside, and now by mistake you did a refresh. All your navigation is gone if it restarts the whole application again, right? Isn't it? I showed you an example. I showed you an example also regarding the problems. You see, in our blog, I told you, right? Restore the state of the UI. That's not currently being done here in this example. All right. So that's the problem today as of now. Okay. So, and also your browser back and forth button won't work. So if you come here, select it, and I say browser back, what will happen? It will take me back to Google. It won't take me back to the previous screen. Okay. That's the problem of this approach. So these are all some couple of problems with this approach, guys. So we don't usually, you see, it's taking me back from the second screen directly to Google. So that's the biggest problem of this approach. Okay, we will change this later point of time. Now moving to the next topic, I want to also demonstrate you all the other data. Let's say I want to also display here on the screen. How can I do that? It's very simple. Now your data is available because you binded the second view with the element of the selected item, so it's all available. Maybe I just create another control in the view 2, and this is called object header control. It's mainly used to display data on the top of the page. Okay, and this also has properties like title, intro, number, number unit, and icon. These are all the properties object header has. To display a business object, single business object at the top of the page, you can use this object header control, and I'll just simply bind the elements here with a relative path. So maybe I want to display the name of the fruit into the title, or title anyways we are displaying. So let's use uh, the type of the fruit over here in the title. In the intro, I will use its benefit. I hope that's the name of the property. It's benefit, not benefits. And then an image, price, and currency I will use. So I use here price. So this is all relative path with respect to the element which got binded to this view in the previous screen. Currency and image. Save this, and let's come back and now refresh and click on an item. Oops, what it happened? Yeah, it came. And now let's click on the banana, and oops, I don't see all the data being displayed on the second view. Press F12. Let me just go back. Oops, I did also mistake here in the title. It should be the type. Yeah, right, it's the type. I'm putting the type, guys, in the title, because anyways name is displayed in the title of the view. So that's why I'm not keeping the name again. It's already displayed. That's why. Okay, so that's my object header control inside content of my view 2. I hope this is my view 2. Yeah, this is my view 2. And I'll just come back just to be very sure. Refresh. It's not loading. Something wrong at the port. Maybe I just restart my app. Yeah, I restarted my app, and let me open it in another window. It's better for me. And now let's look at it. Maybe I choose pomegranate, and I click on it, and voila, you see it has got the benefit. Also it has got the name, it has got the type, it has got the price and the currency on the second view. This is how object header control looks like. It displays the data of a business object on the top. What is this application called in SAP Fiori? What is this type of application called in SAP Fiori, where you have a first screen with the list control and a second screen when you navigate displays you the details of selected item? What is this application called? No, not master detail. This is called work list application, guys. Okay, this type of application in SAP Fiori is standard. It's called work list application. Clear, everyone? This is called work list kind of application. This is called SAP Fiori worklist. Now, if you look at this example, you can see that we have a list control, but and also a search field on the top. And what if I want to now apply a search on the UI? So I want to search for Alfonso. Press search, and it should do what? What it should do, anyone? What do you think it should do? When you click on search, what do you think it should do ideally? When I search for something, it should filter out the data in the below list. That's what we want to achieve now. So how to achieve filtering of data in the list control? How can we do that? So let's go ahead and try and looking into it, how to achieve filtering of data inside of a list control. It's very easy. You got to build an object. So everything is an object, guys. You got to build an object of a filter and pump in all the required information inside of that filter, and then pass this filter to the list control to tell the list that I want to filter what are all these things, guys? What are all these things? What are all these things? What are all these things? Anyone? These are all what? No, not elements. These are what for list? They are list items, right? They are list items. So you need to tell that boss, please filter all the list items for me based on this filter which I am passing to you. So you have to pass a filter. Okay, you have to create a filter and pass this filter to the list item. And list items are created by what is that with which list items are created inside of list? Anybody? What is that with which all the list items in the list are created from? They are created by the help of binding. So you have to get the binding of the items. Okay, you have to get the binding of the items, and then later point of time, once the binding is found, you have to then get all the um, or the filtering applied on it. So let's go ahead and experience it in the system. So on click of search button it should happen. So let's come back and try and doing this on click of search button. So I come here and go to my view one. Let me close all the unwanted windows, it will confuse me. I'm just closing them, and I just go to here and say model view, main view, and main controller. I want main view में जाता हूँ, and then you see this search field here. तो यहाँ पे we will just add the action. So there's an action called search action for the search field. So that's the action I'm going to use. Search action for the search field I'm going to use. And now this action is sufficient for me to go ahead and uh, provide an action handler. So let's put this search action, and I say on search, and then go ahead and provide for this on search and implementation in the controller. So let's say on search function curly braces. Now let's write the algorithm here. Let's break it down our problem, what we need to do. So step number one, anyone who will tell me the steps now here? Who will tell me steps? What is that we're trying to achieve? We want to apply filter on the list. What are all the steps? First thing, what will you do? What will you do as a, forget about technicality, binding, Fiori, everything. What is that user expects? You are end user. Tell me, what do you need to do? First, get the value what user type in the search field, right? That's a step number one. So come here, get the value which user type in search field. That's a step number one. Step number two, using the value obtained, create a filter object. And step number three, pass this filter object to items binding of list control. And of course, to do that, obtain the list object. Now, one question to all of you. How do you know which value user entered in the search field when the event triggers? Anyone? How do you know which value user entered in the field? What is the best way to do that? Perfect answer. Raji has got it right. Use the event object. After so many classes, still people are not able to understand the power of event object. Why do you need to every time get an object and do the things? Simply get the event object. It contains all the information about the plane coming. Okay, it has all the information, guys, about plane coming. You see, everywhere in every example we used event object. Event object is the savior for you. Whenever an event triggers in event handler, this is the way to read the information about it. Okay, let's put a debugger. Come back, refresh the page, press F12, and now let me just go ahead and type in something over here. So many errors with the reading these pictures. Okay, now I come and search something. I will search for, let's say, Anubhav, and I click on the search button. There you go. You see, it hits my debugger on search button. And now if I say oEvent.get source, now who will tell me which object it will give me? Will it give me list object or will it give me search field object? Question number one. which object this get source will give me? Will it give me the list object or will it give me the search field object? The obvious answer, search field object, because the event was triggered by clicking on the search button whose parent control is search field, not the list control. So this one, if was your answer, it's incorrect because this time event was triggered by search field. So get source will give you search field object. Though it's not relevant in this example, still I'm just showing you. You see, it gives me the object of search field. Some ID is showing. Okay, now forget about this part. Let's use o event. Which API do you use to find out all the values this event object has? Which method API you will use to find all the available? Perfect answer. Raji has got it right. Get parameters. So use get parameters. Every event object has this API get parameters to give you all parameters. Which parameter has the value which I typed it in the search field? Which parameter in this case now has the value which I typed in the search field? It's very obvious in front of your screen. It's just to get parameter, and the name of the parameter here is query parameter, and that gives you the value of search field. How difficult it was to answer, guys? If Raji can answer, Swami can answer, you also can answer. There is no doubt about it. They are also regular in the classes. They are also studying same content what I'm teaching to you. It's just a difference of practice. Just a difference of practice which keeps two students different. Though the trainer is same, it's just a practice difference. Okay. एक बच्चा डाकू बन जाता है और एक बच्चा राम बन जाता है. Just a difference of संस्कार. सेम पेरेंट, सेम बिहेवियर, सेम ट्रेनिंग. एक बाहुबली बन जाता है, एक भल्ला बन जाता है, राइट? Same thing. Both of them got same training. Both of them got pampered with the equal love and affection, with equal training. But one guy become good man and one becomes bad, right? So it's just a matter of practicing. Just a matter of practicing, guys. Okay, let's move on. And step number 1 is now complete for us. Var search val equals to o event dot get parameter of query parameter I will use, and then let's do this. Step number 2, let's create the filter object. This is something which I have to teach you now. This is something new. The first one was easier one which you already know probably, and I've just create the object of filter now, and say new SAP UI model filter object, and just pass arguments. In this arguments are two operands and one operator. So first operand is, let's say I want to filter for name, where the name is equals to the value which I entered in the search field. That's your filter object, guys. This is how you create filter object. Two operands and one operator. So you're comparing name which is there inside of binding, name which is there inside of your property, and this is the value which user entered. Just check if both of them are equal or not. Now I'll say, Anubhav, how do you know that this is an operator? EQ is an operator. Why not NQ? Why not DQ? Why not PQ? How do I know? Anyone? How do I know that EQ is an operator? Go to UFF SDK. UFF SDK will tell you, search for filter operator. Here you go, SAP UI model class filter operators, and I see all the operators. Filter operator all, any, between, BT, contains, ends with, EQ, GE, all these operators you see. So maybe for search, which one is best? For doing a search, which operator do you think out of these are best? Which operator do you think? Contains makes more sense. It's like user don't have to exactly type this string. It just do a pattern search going inside contains. So go for a contains operation operator. So I use contains instead of EQ. I use contains, guys. Otherwise my text has to exactly match. So with contains, it doesn't have to exactly match. Some part of the text, if it is matching, it will search for me. Clear, everyone? where are the operators available. So I take that constant and directly put it here. This is JavaScript code, so I can use those constants directly over here. So that's my constant for contains operator. Now I search for name, search value, and the contains, and then I will say create a variable of array. So you have to always create an array of filter, guys, and pass this single filter inside of this array, and you are done. This is the step 2, creating your filter object. Now how to obtain list object? Very simple. Just go to check your list ID. ID of my list control is ID fruits. I can obtain that var o list. Which API do you use to obtain the list object now? Anyone? Can you use get source? Will it be possible to obtain the object of the list using get source or event.get source? No, that won't help you. Which API to use obtaining the list control object? Anybody? Perfect Shiva. You can use getcore. What is the best way in case of XML view to obtain the object of a control? Who will tell me? What is the way to obtain? No. Yes, this dot get view से लेंगे. This dot get view dot by id. This is the case of XML view. Now just to show you, this is also written in the PPT. When I started my course, I have explained you which API to use for XML views. When you read the data, and you see here, one of the session I showed you this dot by id. Okay, that is one way. And then I discussed about it actually, how to read the control with its object actually. So we saw that in case of XML view we use something else. In case of JavaScript views we use something else. That was explained. Slide below, let me search. Yes, here it is. You see in this slide here I have explained for XML view what is the way. When we use XML view we need to get the object of the control. How do we obtain? This is how we obtain. See guys, clearly it's there in the PPT. It's just a matter of you going through it. Just a matter of you going through it, remembering these concepts. Okay. Okay, let's come back. That's object of my list control now, and I can say list dot get bindings of items. Get me the items binding, and on this items binding apply a filter please, and just push in this your filter object over here. And that's it guys. System would interpret this automatically. It would filter items based on the object which you passed, and this object has contains. This is how system would filter your data. Okay, in XML view, isn't the ID of the control keeps changing? Yes, it is. It will always prefix with the view name. That's why we are using this dot get view dot by ID. If you would have used SAP UI get core, it wouldn't have worked with ID fruits, because you have to append the view ID before this. But since you are using get view, you already inside of a view. From the view recognizes the ID of the list control automatically. Okay, automatically. That's why you have to say from the view, you if you get it, ID won't change. ID is fixed always when you go by get view. But if you go by get core dot by id, this id won't work, because get core by id expects the complete id prefixed with the view, but view object expects the id without any prefix, just the pure id of the control. We have demonstrated this also in one of the session where I showed you doing something in the console, and I told you I'm using SAP UI get core. At that time I used the complete id. In fact, the day before yesterday's class, please look at that again, you will know. Okay, that's the filter. I save it. Let's come back and refresh the page and experience the amazing filter capability of this. Maybe I will search for melon, and I search for search. Voila, it has filtered me all the products, all the fruits which are having melon inside. See guys, wow, superb. Anyone else? Can you tell me some search string you want to search for in the fruit store? Any fruit which you like, which you want to search inside of our fruit store? Anyone? Any fruit name you want me to test in this application for searching? Now you see it's just a part. Melon is just a part. So what I search is just a part of it. Because we have used contains operator, it is working. If I would have used equals to operator, then whole string has to match. Whole name of the product has to match. But now, since I put melon, it is just searching. So let's search for maybe uh, LITC, lychee. There you go. Lychee is come. Berry, very good example, berry. And you see there are two berries, strawberry and mulberries. Yeah, two types of berries we have it as part of our products application. Superb.
I have a question.
Yes, please.
It's not a question, but like for example, if I want to search like on for an antioxidant or something, then how do we do it in the same this thing?
Very good question. So now you want to search based on product name also, and based on the property of or the property, the benefits of the fruit also. You have to create now two filters and put it on the view. Okay, you have to create two different filters now. So let me do that. I'll create another filter, var o filter of one equals to new SAP UI model filter, and this time which property will you use? Which property you want to search for? Which property of the JSON? Which property? Which property of the JSON you want to now search? Health benefits. So this is the property name benefit with which it is connected, with which it is binded. So use your property name. Again, use contains and put it in the search value. So whatever I want to search now, this is also another filter condition. And now I'll put both of these inside of my array and pump it to the list control. So you see, I put now both of them inside of my array, and my array is going to the filter the data. So both products I put it, save this. Let's come back and refresh, and I'll search either for name. So let's search for berry, and you see it doesn't find it. Earlier it was working. Or if I search for antioxidant, it is not finding. Why this cola very D? What do you think? It's not working. Why these two filters are not working now, though I have put it the filter? In fact, it stopped working for the name as well. What do you think is doing? What do you think it's doing? Very basic programming aspect. Yes, perfect, Meenakshi. Very smart answer. These two are treated like AND operator. AND means both the condition must fulfill, which means a fruit which has the name also and the benefit also same, then only it will work. Okay, so let me tweak the data a little bit to show you. So now come here, and maybe I use here the benefit like fiber. I think spelling is incorrect, but let's use this. And I use banana fiber. So you see now this fiber is part of banana fiber, the name also, and part of benefit also. Both it is part of. So the AND operator will work. It finds it, the fiber is here also, fiber is here also. It searches and it gets me the result. Let's test this at least, and then we will move on to the next part. So I search for fiber, and you see it's now searching because the name and benefit both are matching. Clear everyone? It's an AND operator. It's an AND operator, which means the both the criteria has to match, then only the result will be displayed. In the name also fiber is there, in the benefit also fiber is there. Now the question comes, Anubhav, that's not expected. Our business user can either give type or benefit, or they can give name. What do you need to do? What do you think you need to do? Your business user can give either the name or the benefit. What do you need to do? Yes, you need somehow to put an or condition between these two filter criteria. So these two filter criteria should be, instead of and, they should be or. Okay, how to achieve that? For that to happen, let's do some magic. So let's create a third filter object. I call it as main filter, new SAP UI model filter, and just put here inside of this filter curly braces and put filters. Inside of filters, put an array and put and equals to false. This is standard syntax, guys. You're creating a filter object. It has filters array in which you pump in both of your filters which you wanted. Okay, both of your filters inside of these filters, and equals to false. And now this main filter, you pass it in the final array and done. You see, and equals to false become or. Correct? And equals to false become or. Opposite of an opposite become positive. Correct? Opposite of an opposite becomes positive. So it's an and equals to false, which becomes or condition automatically. If I make it true, it will behave the way it was earlier. But since I made and equals to false, it will become automatically an or condition. And now see the magic. Come back and refresh, and let's see the magic. If I just type nt, enter, and it's, you see, it's filtering everywhere wherever the type has nt, anti. Okay, it's filtering all of them where you have type as antioxidant. You see, it's all coming over here. And if I just type berry, which was earlier not working, oops, I think I used triple R. Yeah, now you see it's also filtering the products based on name. Hope this is clear for all of you. How did we do multiple filter with or condition? Clear, everyone? The default is and condition, but if you want to do filter based on multiple things, put an or condition. Put all of your filters inside another object with and equals to false, and pump in that filter to the list. It will do the filtering for you beautifully. Yeah, that's the beauty of it, filtering. And maybe I just search for fiber, and you see it's also searching the products which has fiber inside. All of that will work now. Clear, everyone? What did we do? Okay, so that's my filtering. What about if I want to do grouping? I want to group the products, or I want to sort the products based on their names. Okay, so currently see amla, it should have come above the banana. Okay, I want to do sorting. How can I do sorting? So I can come back to my view, and then you can see here we are doing binding of items. So just little bit of change here in the binding of items we need to do. Okay, so we just put path, and then we put single quote and my path over here, and then I put something called sorter, curly braces, and inside of this sorter I have to put my property based on which I want to sort the data. So I want to sort it based on name. Now I don't remember, so Anubhav is also not a god. Anubhav also forget things, so I forgot now what to put. Whom do I take help from when I'm stuck somewhere, when I don't know what to do? What is my first approach? What is that I need to go? Yes, SDK. Go to SDK, search in the documentation of SDK, search for filter, or let's say sort, list control, or maybe sort. Search for sorting, and then you see, oops, I don't find, maybe I go to reference and I say sort, and you see there's a concept called sorter. Go inside sorter. You can create a sorter object also. You can do directly at the list level also. Maybe I just go to samples and I search for a list control, and hopefully it will give me a code to search. Or you see grouping, growing, upward, item type, indicator. This is a lot of different samples. So maybe I want to go for the grouping part. Go to grouping part. When you go to the sample, you will see how did they group. You see they are grouping products by their types. Alpha printers, Brainsoft, they're grouping it. How did they do? Flip and see. They had put a sorter, and they put a path of the property, and then descending equals to false, which means it should be sorted by default ascending order. This is how they put it. So path and descending, two properties they've used. So I'll also use it path, and I'll say sorted based on name. By default it's always ascending order. I just put this part, save this. Let's come back and look at the output, refresh the page, and voila, you see Alfonso, Amla, apple, which was somewhere below, it been sorted now. Apricot, banana fiber, you see B, C, F, G, J, K, L, M. You see it's sorted. All the products were sorted, and the beauty, it works along with sorting. So click on apple, and you see it's being displayed. Oops, it's not now displaying the correct product. You see, it's, yeah, it is displaying correct product. These are all apples only. Yeah, so maybe just choose banana and you see the picture of banana will come up. Yes, so it's working. Your navigation is also pretty well working. It's connecting the right element with the second view, and it's all sorted. You can also group them. Okay, so suppose I want to group them based on their benefits, health benefits. Okay, so I can easily do that. I can go back, and then instead of path in the sorter, we pass benefit. Okay, it will sort based on benefits. At the same time, I want to now group them, so I say I go to SDK and see how do they group equals to true. That's it. So it will group all the fruits based on their benefits. Very, very important if somebody wants to, very peculiar about grouping. So now you see anti-scorbutic and diuretic. So all these two are the fruits which are part of it. Antioxidant fruits. These are all the antioxidant fruits, you see. And then antioxidants and polyphenol. So you see antioxidants, flavonoids, and dietary fiber. So you see it's grouping all the fruits based on their capability. You see it's putting. So how many fruits we have as part of glucose and keeps hydrate? Two fruits. You see this is the group which system is created for you automatically, and it grouped the products for you accordingly, right? What an amazing example. And that's all done by SAP Fiori for you. You don't have to put any additional processing logic on your own. That's the beauty of using framework, because it gives you ready to use APIs. You can now build Android apps also, guys, because you know how to use APIs, how to use framework. Android development is absolutely same fashion. You have an Android SDK where you have while find all the controls related to Android app, and there's an XML view, there's a controller which is JavaScript, and you can build Android app. Okay, similar to this. It's very much possible and easy. Clear, everyone? Now I can search also. I can say NT, and it will search all the products with NT inside of them. Yeah, very nice. Maybe I just search for this one, and you see it searches the products which has diuretic. Clear how the searching, grouping, and sorting works with SAP UI5 in the list control. Wow, what an example. Now moving next, what I want to do is, you have seen that we have a typical navigation. So if I click on an item, it takes me to the next screen. Okay, if I click on some other item. Okay, before we move on, I want a Google like search. What is a Google like search? Go to Google, and search for FIO, and you see the moment I'm typing, it's filtering. Okay, the moment I'm typing, it's filtering. That's my Google like search, guys. That's a Google like search. So the moment I am typing, it's filtering for me. The moment I'm typing, that's a Google like search. How can we do that? So first, let's go to UI5 SDK and ask UI5 SDK, is there any event with input field or search field which you have it with you, which can do me a Google like search? So I just go to API reference search field, which is part of M library, not UI Commons. Make sure that you choose the right library. So go for search field in M library and see the events here. Do you see an event which would probably trigger when I'm doing a key press? When I'm pressing the keyboard keys on my screen, it will then pop me up or do something. Probably live change event. Probably. Let's go and check this out. So you see this event is fired when value of search field is changed by user. Example, at each key press, when you're pressing something on the keyboard, when typing it, at that moment itself, it's filtering for you. Okay, it will fire an event called live change. So I can use this event, and I can reuse my event handler which is used for on search. I can reuse this absolutely as it is. Just come here, and where is my search field? Here it is, and I say on live search. Just call my existing event handler on search. Now your question is, Anubhav, will it work? Let's try this out. Let's try this out. Let's go back and experience it if it works. I refresh, And now let me try typing berries. So I type B and you see it doesn't work. Ideally, it should have filtered me. But one thing for sure, when I type something, it's doing something. That I'm now sure of. That when I'm typing, it's a kind of live search. When I'm typing, it's really doing something up for me. But the problem, it didn't filter for me. Why? Why? Let's debug. Debugging is having all the answers of your questions. Let's enable our debugger. And I refresh once again. Press F12 and type B over here. So I type B, it hits my debugger, and let's proceed on step by step. F10. And now what am I doing here? I'm just getting the value. Let's do an F10. And what is the problem you see, guys? If I highlight my search val, do you see it read my value which I type in search field? Yes or no? Do you see it read the value? So that's the culprit. This guy is the culprit. It's not reading. So which means this query parameter is not reading the value. What do I do? What do I do now to get the value? What do I do to get the value? Anyone, what do you think will do to now get the value of what user type on the user field? How do I get it? Just check the get parameters again, or you can go to SDK and see the parameter list. Do you see a parameter new value which gives me the current search string? You see, it's already there in the documentation also. So you see there is a parameter new value, which is the parameter for search. If you see, for search, the parameter name was query parameter. But for this event, it's new value parameter. However, you can also go back, and that's the best way to get parameters, to list out all the parameters. And you see here you got the value B, which I typed in on the UI in a new value parameter. So I have to now put a safeguarding mechanism where if the value is undefined in case of normal search, just simply do that. So I just say if condition, okay, search value, if it is equals to undefined, which means this event was called due to live change, not by search, because my both has to work now. Search also should work, live change should also work. So in case of search, this value will come. So value will not be undefined, it won't go inside of if condition. But if it goes inside of if, which means it was triggered by live change. So I say search val equals to o event dot get parameter of my new value. And that's a safeguarding. Now you have put it. Same code will work now for both search as well as for live change. Clear, guys? Is that clear? What did we do? How did we find the right event properties? It's there in SDK or it's there in the debugging also. You can check it. We are ready. Let's uncomment the code, refresh, and see the magic happening here. Now let's see what happens. I type B, it's filtering. E, filtering. R, Y. Wow, a Google like search. Congratulations, guys. A Google like search for you right at front of your screens. That's the beauty of SAP UI5 framework. Gives me amazing capability. I search for MA. You see, there are only one fruit with MA inside. If just search for M, it says for UM, and you see there are two fruits which has jamun, plum. So UM is there in two of these fruits. What an amazing concept. Superb. Say black, and you see B E P P, you see PP, apple, apple, pineapple. APP is there in all three of them. That's the beauty of live search event. Clear, everyone? How did we make the live search work? Okay, live search work. Does it search currency and amount? Of course. If you apply filter on that, it will. If you apply a filter on that, it will for you. Definitely it will. Okay, moving to the next part. So this application is called work list application, where you click on an item and it changes the screen and takes you to the next screen. Actually speaking, you don't need this full screen space. Even this is a small screen, it will still fit in the list inside of it. Okay, you don't really need such a big screen to navigate user from one screen to another screen. Okay, You don't need such a big screen actually. So this whole screen, if you see, you're given to list, not necessarily required, and then you are doing a navigation which looks bad actually. So such type of work list application, if user want, you create it, but usually when you have such data, why to navigate? Why don't we divide this whole screen into two parts? So this list to detail, it's an unnecessary navigation you are doing. Why don't you do like this? Keep one single screen, big screen, and divide this screen into two parts. Okay, divide this screen into two parts. So the left part of this screen you display the list control, and the right part of the screen you display these details. Isn't that make sense? Isn't that look better approach, where user doesn't have to go back and forth? Now on a single screen, user will be able to see both the list and the details on a single screen, guys. So that's called master detail application. Okay, this is called master detail application in Fiori. Okay, master detail application, where both you are not navigating on same screen, you're divided into two parts and it's displaying both the content side by side. It's called master detail application. A lot of examples on SDK as well as on the SAP Fiori trial.com are there for the master detail type of template. So to achieve this, you have to divide it into two parts. Which object is responsible for encapsulating views? Which object in today's world is responsible for encapsulating both the views? Swami has got it right. Raji, Udit, all of you are right. It's app object. We will change this app object to something called split app object. Okay, we are now creating a split app. We are splitting the screen into two parts. Split app object we will create. So let's see how can we do that, and then put both of our views in the inside of split app. It's very easy. Hardly it will take 2 minutes to do that. Let's go back, and where is my app object? It's there inside index HTML. So instead of having app object, watch carefully, I'll comment out this piece of code. Okay, maybe I'll just create first. So I say var o app equals to new sap.m.split app. And now guys, the beauty of split app, it has two parts of it. Okay, so I just give an ID app. It has two parts. One is master pages aggregation. For all the pages which you want on the master side, put master pages, and all the pages which you need in detail side, put detail pages. These are all two aggregations. So in the app, you had one aggregation called only page, but here, since the whole screen is getting divided into two parts, all the pages which you want to display in the left section, it goes into master pages. All the pages which you want to display on the right side goes into the detail pages. Clear everyone? This is what you need. So let's go ahead and put this master pages and detail pages. So I'm just going to come back and put my this first main page object inside of my master page, and put my detail page, which is view 2, inside of my detail page aggregation. We are done. Let's comment out the above piece of code, and let's see on the UI what happens. I save this, and now you see my app object is a split app type. I've divided the screen into two parts with master section and detail section. Let's save this and come back to the UI, refresh the screen. Voila, see what it did. It divided the whole screen into two parts. I click on an item. Oops, it's not changing the screen for me yet. Okay, it's not changing screen. Why? Press F12 and see the problem. The problem is it cannot now do bind element because it's unable to obtain the object of the second view, guys. Because earlier both the views were part of app object, you could have got it directly, they were part of pages aggregation, but now the views have been distributed in different aggregations, so that's why it's not working. If you come and debug, let's go to sources, and you see here is the problem. It's showing red. The problem is earlier they were part of pages aggregation. You see get pages. Now will this get pages work now? Is there any pages aggregation? Is there any pages aggregation now? No, there is a master pages and detail pages aggregation. So what you need to do, you need to change this get pages to what? Anyone? You need to change this get pages to what? Which aggregation you want to read now? So earlier you were having pages aggregation. Now if you want to read the view 2 object, which aggregation it is part of? Earlier it was part of pages aggregation. Now your detail view is part of detail pages aggregation. So you got to read detail pages aggregation to get the object of your view too. That's what you need to do. Let's go back and change this piece of code here. So this guy here is causing an issue. I'll comment out this guy and I'll say get me the detail pages. And how many detail pages you have? Anyone? How many detail pages right now you have? Only one. So this array will return you one object. So get the 0th element of this array. Save this. Let's come back and refresh once again. And now I click on an item. Still not working. There is some problem. Press F12 and debug this. So you see again this get detail page is probably not working. I just got to debug this. So on item press F10, and let's do get parent. So let's see what get parent gives me. See guys, get parent is giving me master section. So now see the aggregation level, it's little different. Earlier it was everything inside pages. Now you have split app object. Split app object has master section, detail section. Inside of master section you have your master view, your main view which you had put, and inside this you want to put your view too. So if I do master view dot get parent, what will it give me? Will it give me split app object? Anyone? If I do master view dot get parent, which is what I am doing, master view dot get parent, main view dot get parent, what will it give me? It will give me master section, right? So I am still inside the left screen. I didn't reach to split app level. Again, if I do get parent, that gives me split app object, and then from there I can get the detail. So I have to do 2 times get parent, one to reach to master section, which it has reached here. You see it reached to master section still. On top of master section, you have split app object, its parent, which is just the split app object. So get parent should be done 2 times to reach to the master. So let's go back and do that. So get parent is 2 times, then only you can get the detail pages. Save this, come back, refresh, and now watch. Voila, superb. You see, it's now when I choose an item, it's choosing and selecting that item, displaying me the details of that product on the right hand side. That's how they built a master detail application, guys. They don't do any. Clear everyone? How to create a master detail application. Now just to do some beautification, this arrow I don't want, and this guy also don't want. So tomorrow's class, that's an exercise for you guys. Remove these 2 buttons. We don't want delete, we don't want navigation like this, and we want mode to be single select master mode. Okay, so change the list mode to single select master. Remove these 2 things completely out of your list items and make it look better. How does it look? Let me show you a sample. Go to sapfioretrial.com and I'll show you one sample over there. So how does it look like? So there's no arrow needed, there is no delete button needed on the left hand side in the master section. I simply need the content, and when I click on any of the item, it should display me the details. Clear everyone? So I will put in also in the page, but let me just show you. So maybe I just go to some app which has some data at least to display. Approve, yeah, we have approved purchase orders. So I want your app to look like this. So you see how beautiful it looks on the left side, master. You have a search field, you have a master section. I select an item, it displays me data on the right hand side. Okay, so how much part we have built till date? We have built this part completely, search field and a list. We have built this part, object header, and we have built this master detail part. The remaining below part we will also build and try to make it similar to standard. Clear everyone? So what you need to do, you see there is no cross button here, there is no arrow button here. It's a simple single select master mode in which it is operating. So change that, bring it me a neat and clean UI. I don't want this arrow and stuff like that. I want a neat and clean UI. I don't want this arrow and a delete button. So that's what you got to do, and your navigation should still work. So exercise for today, You have weekend coming up, day after tomorrow, so just try this out. Maybe today only you have to complete this. Remove the delete and arrow from list item, and when I choose item, it should still load data on right. That's what you guys have to do it. Exercise. I can only see and tell till date only Raji is continuously doing exercise and she is sending me solution every day. Out of 42 students in this batch, I don't see anybody else sending me exercises. I'm not sure whether you are spending time or not. Just one request, please spend time. It's your hard earned money which you invested behind Anubhav. Please spend some time, try to complete the exercise. Okay, please. Okay, there's a message here. Vara is trying to set up SAP Web IDE into his local laptop and it's not working, it seems. Unable to locate its companion shared library. Maybe let's have a look at it, Vara. Would you be able to share your screen with us? And maybe we'll quickly look at this issue and maybe see in the class if somebody else can also help you out. So please share your screen. Your line is
Yeah,
I'll make you the presenter.
sure.
Please go ahead and share your screen. You are the presenter now. Please share your screen.
Oh, okay. So it looks like it need to download some software.
No problem.
Uh,
It won't take much time. Just do that right away.
oh, okay.
And I
Okay,
also
sure.
see you're connected via phone. Why are you doing that? You could connect with computer audio, which would not cost you much. Phone will cost you something. There is an option.
Okay, yeah, no problem.
That's your choice. But
Um,
okay. Yeah, show me.
okay. Share your screen with
Yeah, we can see
stop
your
sharing.
screen. Go ahead, please.
So you can see my screen? Okay,
Yes.
sure. So this is the where I went. Where is that? So this is the where I install the software. Actually, not this one. Sure. Web IDE, correct? And this is the where I installed, and Eclipse and Orion, and this is the right click, run as administrator, correct?
Hmm.
So then, okay. Then this is what I'm getting message.
Your extraction was not proper. Can you do one thing, please? Go to Google.
Okay.
Download a software called WinRAR.
What is that?
WinRAR.
This one?
WinRAR. Yes. Based on your operating system. If it, I guess it's 64-bit majority of us. So you can download
Yeah, 64-bit. Yeah, 64-bit. So
download.
do you think this is the where or?
Right, right.
Oh. So intro this one, correct? Or beta, but that is beta, that's okay. 64-bit beta version.
Right.
Or
Yes.
this one. Okay. Yeah, I think I checked even I install other one also. Looks like the WinZip, whatever the zip file, it comes with the Windows, it doesn't work when you
Right.
unzip.
Right.
So that's what they suggested. Some 7-zip or something. This is one of the blog. I saw that
This
message.
is the
7-zip.
best
We can use that.
uncompression software which we all use. In fact, even I use this to do all the compression and decompression of files. You can now just quickly install this.
Oh, okay.
Won't take
So
much
click
time.
OK, right?
Yes. Now go
Okay.
to the directory where you have your folder, Eclipse folder. You would see the icon of that would change.
Yeah, this
Go
one.
back to
Yeah,
the ID
change it.
folder. Yes. Now just delete this Eclipse folder. We don't need it anymore. Let's see
Okay.
if it allows you to delete. I think it won't allow you because you executed, I guess, some file maybe. I'm not sure. And now this time, once it is cleaned up, you can then right click on your WebID personal edition file which you have at 1:10 p.m. downloaded.
Okay, this one, correct?
Yeah, this is the one. Because first one anyways we are deleting, and then don't
Yeah.
right now don't do it. Let it delete that folder and then just choose extract here, and that's it.
Okay.
It will extract, uncompress properly, and then you can go
Mm-hmm.
inside and double click on Orion. It will work. This is what I also explained in our course, extract here option. So now you're getting that option.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, I saw your video, so that's where I
Okay.
got your instructions from there
Another
and
thing,
start doing this.
Lokesh is saying a good point. So Lokesh has a point to say that your folder name should be a short name, okay, which is I think you have kept it in user vara rit or something, right? So don't do that. Do one thing, cut this file SAP Web ID Personal Edition, put it in your D drive or C drive, a short folder name, because what happens, extraction would lead to big path which these extraction softwares doesn't support. So usually I keep it in my D drive web IDE folder directly, or C drive web IDE folder. You have kept it on C drive users vara RIT web ID, which then leads to a big path, which will again lead to problem. Just go to direct C drive, create a folder here. Yes, my web ID, whatever name you like. Yeah, whatever name you like, you can choose my web ID or something. Cancel this, no problem. Let it not delete, no problem. Just name it to my web IDE and paste that entire rar file, zip file, whatever it was, inside of this folder. Okay, so now when extraction happens, it won't be a big path. Cancel this, no problem. Let it not delete, no problem with that.
Oh, so you're saying from here, I just copy this.
No, not this. Yes, this guy, SAP Web ID Personal Edition, you got to copy. Copy this guy into the C drive Web ID. So you have to exactly follow the way it is done in the videos. So many times it happens we don't follow it and then we get into issues. So extra R&D should only be done once you are able to achieve base output. Base output follows with my video. Okay, right click now on this and say extract.
So I can here.
Yes,
This
extract.
one, third option.
Yes, that's it. It will create an Eclipse folder. It would take some time. Let it complete, and this time you won't get any errors. Okay, earlier I'm sure you must have got some errors related to paths. If it sometime give you a pop-up to replace, let's say yes to all. Okay, sometime it will give.
Oh, yes to all. Okay. Replace.
That's all you have to do. Yes to all, and that's it. Let it get complete, and you can try it and send me an email if you still face the issue. Okay, it will get resolved.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
Also, one more interesting point to note that you need to have Java 1.8 in your system. 1.9, say, I don't know if it is tested in 1.9. Anybody 1.9 in your system and it's working with 1.9 Java? So just go to command prompt.
Okay.
CMD and search for Java version. CMD, type CMD.
Yeah, I think I have. Yeah. I checked. I have 1.8.
Then good. So Java space version.
Oh,
Press
okay.
enter. It should be 1.8. Okay, everything should be in small letters.
Oh, okay. So case sensitive. Java space hyphen
version.
Yeah, 1.8. Right?
Good. Then we are good. It will work. It will work actually. So extraction is still running. It will take some time. It's already running. Yes. More doubts?
Yes to all?
Yes to all. Yes.
Okay.
Let it complete and then you try. It will work 100%.
Okay. Sure. I have another question, maybe related to the one which you explained today. So let's say you have you have the fruits and the name of the fruit and what is the health benefit and the rate, correct? Mm-hmm. So let's say I know we took it from the XML file. We're reading the data and displaying. Let's say user want to enter the information like in the fruit name, data entry, fruit name and the health benefits and the rate, right? So you already have the screen is there, and so I have the screen and user is saving the data, but now I have the requirement to hide only the I don't want to enter the health benefit. Let's assume so what is the best place to hide the health benefit field?
Currently, we don't have any input fields on the UI. If you don't want a field, why at the first place you create it?
No, that's somebody did it. Let's assume that somebody, in the requirement, initial requirement, basically, okay.
Okay, got it. Got your point. So if you want to do such a thing, maybe I'll share back my screen. So what we can do is we can just go ahead and do it in the view directly. So maybe what I'll do is I go back to my view. Okay, suppose
I can see your screen now. I can see how I can. Okay, I have to go back to.
Yeah, and if you want to hide search field, so you can just go to view, say visible equals to false.
Oh, okay. So this is the main view.xml. Okay, that's where it is. Okay.
I mean, wherever your input field was created, there you just go it and do it. And then if you come back and refresh, you will see this whole search field will go away. You see it's gone.
Okay. Okay, the visible equal to false. That's simple.
This is covered in my previous. I think you missed many of the previous classes. It was covered.
Yeah. This is my second class.
Yeah. So just watch out the previous classes. That's why I'll say don't start from middle. Should start from scratch. Otherwise, you will get confused completely. Okay.
Yeah. So I already have the experience on this a little bit. So yeah.
Okay, good. You have an experience, then that's good for me. But I would still recommend to start from session number 1. That would be great. I mean, you would get completely, a qualified, simplified way of learning. Otherwise, half knowledge will be there. You will still have half knowledge with you, and half is distributed in classes, so it will be difficult for you.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. So as I said, I'll continue now. Then again, join to the next batch. Just miss the process. So meanwhile, I have to learn this one quickly. So that's the reason.
Great. So with that, it's a wrap on today's class. See you tomorrow at the same time. Have a nice day and goodbye, guys.